Hi there. So picking up where we left off before, almost. I mean, I've put a shader on him, so it looks a bit more, well, human, sort of. I've tweaked a bit of the skin weights a little bit more, just to sort of ease out some of the shapes around the mouth. And I've given him some teeth. There we go, which are just bits of chew, which are parent constrained. So the lower teeth are parent constrained to the jawbone, the upper teeth are parent constrained to the head bone, and so the bottom teeth follow the jaw, and the top teeth follow the head. So we're going to add some shapes now, some blend shapes. Well, they seem generally to be just called shapes these days, but blend shapes. Nevertheless, I like the term blend shapes because part of the fun bit is you can blend them together, and so that's the main advantage of them. But the first thing I've got to do is close the mouth up, because obviously when you model it a little bit with the mouth open, so you can actually get in there and do skin weights and keep the top of the mouth separate from the bottom of the mouth. But now I need at least to have one blend shape in there where I can close that up. So there's the shape editor. So if we go back to the channel box, there's the shape node that we added before we put in the skin cluster. So the shapes are there, they show up here. So I can go add target, and it immediately goes enabled. So I'm now not editing the actual shape, the original geometry. I'm now editing a shape target, and so I can go, because I'm working across the whole mouth, I'm going to go Object X Symmetry, and I'm going to go Vertex. There we go. And in the tool settings, I can go Soft Select. There we go. So now if I select that guy, you'll see left and right, although I would do anyway. So one, do that. If I do it smooth, then what? Give me that one there. I just want to be careful at the corners of the mouth that I'm not overly creasing them up. Turn off some selection for a second. Play nicey with some of these. Make sure they close up nicely. And then again, check them smooth. Make sure that looks okay. That looks fine now, I think. Okay. Object mode and shape editor. So now that's just him being able to close his mouth there. That looks okay. Say, stum, say nothing, mate. Right, we can switch that edit off if we want to. So we would now, if we went onto vertex mode now, we would now be editing the original shape, and we don't really want to do that. So that's that blend shape. So I can go mouth, that's moth, mouth, closed. There we go. So I can go back here, add target, and we can go L, I, up, lid, eyelid up. So what I want to do is I just want to work on the top half of the eye. So I'm going to switch off symmetry because I just want to do this eye and go vertex. So if we just have a look at what the original geometry is, and in fact, if we go object mode, I think really we could have done with an extra this is my model, what am I saying? I could have done with an extra edge loop just behind here to help sort that curve out a little bit. But there are different ways of doing this. So if I go show isolate select view selected, depending on how you want to edit these, but edge is quite nice because you can get those ones here, these front to back ones, and that in effect brings down two edges. What have I done? Select two, one, shift, those. Right, so that brings those two upper loops down. So I can scale them together that way and bring them down into the center here. Right, and so that one will want to come out, that one will want to come out, and that one will want to come out. That is clipping it, let's just clip them. So sooner or later we'll need to get the eye back in place to say, is that taking up the shape of the eye or not? And look at those other features. Don't do that, I don't want to paint skin weights. Right, come here, vertex. That's the midline of it. Is that the midline of the eye? That's the midline of the eye. That's the middle line of the eye. There you go. So I don't want that hanging back too far. I might need to sort my clipping plane out because it's the camera's getting, whenever the camera gets close to the clipping plane, you start losing surfaces and you can't see what you're doing. Right, okay. Let me just try and sort out the other bits of the eye. Coming forward, there we go. Right, let's bring the eyeball back in and see what that looks like. Show, isolate, select, view selected. Right, so there's the eyeball. And 3 does that. So we're not massively low with this. So if I get that edge there, bring that down. I just think I quite fancy getting that kind of downward curve of the upper eyelid there. And then normally I'd get that one and that one, level them out a bit, bring them down a bit, and bring them forward a bit because they're going over the eyeball. And so, and then just an interesting version. Vertex, please, thank you. Just to stop the textures stretching quite so much, I'll bring in the next bit as well. And so the blink is not just on the bottom edge of the eyelid, it eases back into the eye completely. Right, something like that. I'll bring that slightly further forward. And smooth. That looks like that, okay. So he looks dopey, but that's brilliant because I like. It's a good range to be able to animate from all the way up there down to dopey. That's good, cool. So now, with that still at 1, if I switch edit off and go thing shapes, add target, and then go L, I, down, lid. Then we can kind of go, right, we're now editing this guy. And I think I might go to edge again. right U and U and U. Right, so 1 vertex. These all want to come forward, don't they? However, they don't want to come as far forward as the upper lid, because the lower lid always stays behind the upper lid. And again, these come up, they need to come out as they track over the eyeball. Is the idea that that's what they look like. They're not actually tracking over the eyeball, we're faking it. But, you know, it's 3D animation. It's animation in general. Is all smoke and mirrors. It's a pack of lies that entertains. Okay. 3. Right. And so those two together, if you use a set-driven key to put those together, you can either make them blink at the same time, or you can pose them up independently to kind of make different sort of styles of squint. Yeah. Really? Are you sure? So yeah, so that gives you that control, and so the idea would then be go and do the one on the other side. You might go and do left thing shape, add target. So L for left, frown. Right, so we've got to be careful now that we don't move any vertices on the other half, because we want to keep this entirely on this. So frown is outside edge up, inside edge down. And you kind of work out where your frown starts depending on how you're going to model it. Now, this is where mirrors come in handy. I think this bottom edge is all going to come down as well, and it'll probably force down some of this as well. So that one, excuse me. Now you can move the midline down, but you've just got to remember that if you're going to frown both eyes at the same time, that will double the movement on the middle vertices. So if you kind of go, right, I'm going to move that down half as much as I would normally, and that one. So when I put both shapes together, then the middle one is perfect. How far out are we going to take this? Oh, test the movement is good. View. It's usually better to model way further than you ever actually animate it to, and then you've got a good amount of range. And obviously I'm just doing this from the front view at the moment. Got to remember that there's a bone brow ridge there, so if that goes up, and also there's a good deal of I'm coming forward with this. As your muscle pushes it down, it sort of bunches up the flesh, so it pushes it outwards as well. more there. Bit more there. Bit more there. Bit more there. So smooth. What if I got to paint eyebrows on him? That might be a good idea, mightn't it? There you go. So I squint at you. I think you're weird. Right, okay, cool. Frown. It's brown, isn't it? Well, I suppose you're going to get a frown there, isn't it? A frown. Target. L. Surprise. Surprise. Go the other way. Go the edge. And we start just with really? Shock me. Yeah. Why do I keep getting paint skin waves? Right. Edge. No, that guy. I've done it now because I've hidden them. There we go, that's the one. Weird. Way more than I meant to, but never mind. So I'm going to take that up a bit. I think we're bound to get some of this pulled up. So something a bit like that, maybe. Let's have a look at that moving. You're kidding me. Really? Oh my god. Oh my god. Get a slightly nicer arc in that. These would probably come on. Further out. There you go, something like that. So that's a frown and a surprise. And obviously you can do weird things like combine the two together and you get, really? That's a kind of twisted, frowny surprise. And then you could do a brow up and a brow down. I mean, you do add target, L, brow, you know, and just literally face. That one. Q, please. That one. That one. That one. W. Bring them all down a bit. That one. Bring them down. That one. That one. That one. That one. Intensify. And that one. That one. That one. Down a bit. Maybe forward a bit because it's a bone ridge, so I'll pull the skin over a bone ridge. And so there's that kind of that blending thing. You kind of go, I'm doing that. You kind of go, really? So that sort of like really pushes that frown down. And so you could add those things together to get different combinations of expressions. And then you would then obviously go add target. L, brow, up. Then reverse the process. So face, there's faces. Up. And then you can use those to enhance those other shapes that you've got. So that guy, vertex, that guy, bit more thinning the brow as you go. Probably have that ease back into those shapes. So that would go up, and then you can add that to the surprise, and then that surprise becomes pretty extreme. And so you've got those enhancers. There you go. So that's that one. Da, da, da. What else could we do? And so the other things that kind of go with this is phonemes. And so some of all of the phenome stuff that you can do, object mode, you can actually do quite with that. But obviously there are other things that you need to do. Because I mean, some of the spoken stuff is, you know, P's and L's. L is a lot on the tongue, but we don't have a tongue. But you know, you can fake quite a lot of what's going on anyway. I mean, I could even just close the mouth by doing that, to tell you the truth. Didn't realise I could get away with that. Should have checked first. But it's probably handy to have that neutral position and then be able to do that on a blend shape. Shape editor. Now closed. But yeah, the more difficult ones to do are O's and stuff like that. And so you can do blend shapes for that. Well, it's wise to do blend shapes for that. But the other things to do are emotions, and so you can go vertex, tool settings, soft selection, shape editor, left by up, down, thing shapes, add target. Right, there we go. And so now we could do left smile, so we could go L smile, which literally is just taking the corner of the mouth up. I mean, there should be kind of here-ish, although I've not got it too extreme. That bit that goes around the mouth there should really be an edge loop that goes from there to above there, which is the nasal labial fold, which allows you to crease. That is that smile crease. Can do that. Do that a bit. Ease it a bit up here. It's a bit more there. Have an effect out onto the cheek. Yeah, well, I want that one there. Because the thing is, the interesting thing is that although the corner of the mouth turns up, if you open your mouth when you're smiling, it's because the lower jaw is going down. That makes sense. So, and then beware, don't cross over too much. Do the other side. Try and keep the smile to the corners of the mouth going up and not the centre of the mouth going down. Let's see. So you get that pinching there, which is the type of thing that you'll see with a smile. So it doesn't happen, it's not just the corner of the mouth, it's the entire section of the face going up. Turn soft selection off for a second. Tweak some individual vertices to ease out those lines a little bit. Right. Shape editor. E. Yeah, there you go. And so on and so forth. So look to your phenomes, decide which phenomes you need, and then you can start to put things together. So I would go attribute editor, modify, add attribute. Right, so long name is going to be L link, and it's going to be here -10 tab 10. So yeah, so normally with that kind of thing, if I'm going to do a blink in, I'd probably do a kind of like a pop as well on the opposite side. So thing shapes, add target. L-I pop. You can shift these if needs be. If you, I think it's if you middle mouse click them. Can you drag them up? I think you can drag them up and down here. So you can get left eye pop and put it underneath. I don't know, to me to group it. Control Z. You can drop it in between them anyway, so you can move them up and down if you need to. Right, so pop on this one would just be, I'm going to go to edge loops. Initially that one, I'm going to move it up out a little bit. So that's my initial bit of it, and then it's going to be vertex W. I'm usually, when I'm modelling, I'm a lot more careful that the edge loop sits on the, there's an edge loop that sits on the surface of the eye, but I've adapted this model from another one that has eyes built into the skin, so it doesn't actually operate in the same way that I would normally do eyes. It's probably not a good way to demo a bit of practice by going, I don't normally do it this way. To which people are going to go, Andy, that's unhelpful, which is true. Right, vertex. The eyes are so hooded and so far set back in the eye socket, I can only pop so much. Great. And what's that look like? Whoa! Yeah, I should be able to get more than that. Come on. Edge. Come on, let's take that down. Surely. Get a bit more out of that. Yeah, I think I'd probably have to flatten that back a little bit. How far down can I take this? What's that look unsmooth? What am I doing to it? Heinous. Never model smooth, but I just want to see what it looks like. There we go. That's working. Right, no. Oh no. Vertex. Is that sufficient? I think that'll be sufficient. Yeah, that'll do. Okay. Cool. So, moving swiftly on. We've got that guy there, and so L blink. We have the shape editor, and we've got eye up, eye down, and eye pop. Let's just see. Can I shift that? Put it there. There you go. I'll just group them so that they're not grouped, they're just all in the same place now. Right, okay, I've stopped editing that. Right, so animate in principle like this. Key, set driven key, set. How do I get that onto the screen? Boom, boom, boom. Load driver, left blink. Right, now this is the more difficult one. You have to get that and then go thing shapes, select that bit and go load driven. Thing shapes appears then. And now we've got all these bits and pieces here. And we need for this left eye up, left eye down. And and it's not shifted the order there, is it? No, that's annoying. Left eye pop. Load. We've loaded the driven. That's driven now. Right, okay, so go on that one. Left blink is at 0. Shape editor, those things are at 0. This is where maybe docking that at the same point is not such a good idea. You could have them both visible at the same time if you wanted to. Key, right? Okay. So, left eye blink down, I think. Would down be everything together? And up, yeah. Okay, so let's go up. Let's go to 10. Shape editor, left eye pop, up to 1. Key. Now don't forget, you can key these things here as well, and you can do other bits and pieces with them, but to make short work of it, you can do that, and then you can go left upper lid, left lower lid, key, and then 3, get here, left blink, goes everything from out to down all in one whole piece of animation. So you can get all your bits and pieces here. So you can have a left smile and a right smile, and you could key them to the same controller and go smile all at the same time. You can normally drive these things through what certainly you can drive joint rotations from more than one set driven key. So you can almost put poses together where you add different bits of set driven key together and say that pose is these things together. But that's basically getting that working together, which is fine. And so modify, add attribute, left smile. This is not the time to think what you would do is left smile and left frown together, and so you go left smile. Actually, shall we do that? Let's just do that quickly, just to prove my point, although I'm not sure I've got a point, but still, there we go. Vertex, shape editor, L smile, shapes, add target. L. See, there you go. I put frown for the eyebrow up there, but actually, you know, that should be brow frown as opposed to mouth frown. So, okay, mouth frown as opposed to mouth smile, I suppose. I'm not quite sure what the differences are there, but still. So, Shape editor. No, tool settings. We're in the shape editor. Soft selection. Soft select. So I'm going to come down. I'm going to rotate. I'm going to come down a bit. I'm going to rotate a bit. I'm going to come down a bit. Rotate a bit more. Be miserable, come on. Try and do it without it creasing too much. We don't want to push it over the kind of like the bone of the jaw, but we'll kind of make sure that this all is harmonious and not look like he's going to drool himself or something. Da-da-da. Is that sufficiently miserable? I think that's more miserable than you normally just go down a little bit, don't you? I am glum. Right, let's just tell 0.5. I wonder if I can close the top down. I don't want him to look like he's got a lump on his lip though. You, down a bit. Looks like it's going to sort of like Botox or something. Ugh. My face is melting. Right, hang on. Tool settings, soft selection, no thank you. Individual vertices. Trimmed up a little bit. Come on, you. Make that bulge a little bit. Again, if in doubt, mirror as you model these expressions, because as things shift around on the face, it will change where the flesh can't say it, is massing and bulging, so the things change position a bit. Right, that'll do. Shape editor. Left mouth round. Ooh. Ooh. Right, that'll do. Don't edit that, thank you very much. Right, so we've added to this guy here. Oh, did we do it? We didn't, did we? No, we didn't. Go L. Mouth corner. I wonder if this would be better actually done in one of those sort of linked up boxes, you know, sort of graphical interfaces. -10, tab 10. Add. Okay. Let's zero you out. There we go, cool. So, close. Head control. Load driver. L mouth corner. There we go. Oh, I like to put a space in it. And so that thing shapes. Driven thing shapes. And now we've got frown, L smile, L mouth front. There we go. Dupe and control. Those two. So those are the ones. Right. Okay. So that is at 0. So we can go key it, and then we can go down, and I'm assuming that that's going to be left mouth brown, that'll be down key, up all the way to 10, shape editor, smile, key. Okay, cool. So now, got that mouth corner, we can go from one extreme to the other, no matter where the jaw position is. And so now, being happy or sad is independent of whether or not his mouth's open or not. And I suppose actually, if you wanted to separate frowns from eye movements and stuff like that, you could put your blinks and frowny brown movements on the head control, and then you could put your mouth shapes on the jaw control. So you're going to go, I'm animating the mouth here, and I'm animating the eyes and head up here. So those are possibilities as well. There's all sorts of different ways of organising it, depending on how you feel like you do, how much time you've got, and how smart your animator is, and how funky you want your portfolio to look. So there you go. That's blend shapes, set driven key, and that kind of thing. We could have a look at a graphical interface in another one if you want to. Shout at me if you do. And I think that's it, because as soon as they're done, then he's pretty animatable, I think. So I think that's it. But yeah, watch this space. There might be more. We'll see how it goes. Good luck with all that.